Today I decided to do a video on fasting. This is not a new concept. It's been around for ages throughout history of man. I remember when I was a kid, we used to fast every Friday. It was sort of a pain for me as a young kid, but the reward was the breakfast the next morning. So Saturday morning, it was feast time. Today, what I am going to focus on is one aspect or one type of fasting, which is called intermittent fasting. Most people associate fasting with losing weight, which you do. But the most important thing is focus on healthy eating, change our eating habits. IF is a rebranding of what almost everybody has been doing all their lives. People are doing intermittent fasting and don't even know it. So when you go to bed, you've been fasting for at least, hopefully, 8 hours. And if you haven't eaten a few hours before that, then maybe you've been fasting for 10 hours. And so today, what we're going to talk about is how to extend that period. Is intermittent fasting safe after 50? Short answer, yes. There's various types of fasting. I use the intermittent fasting on the soft side, meaning that I don't go crazy. I don't do 20 hours of fasting and 4 hours of eating. As I mentioned, I started off doing about 11, 12 hours. Then I would add an hour or so, and also making sure that I felt good, that I wasn't too dizzy. At the beginning, you start getting dizzy. I even now sometimes start getting dizzy after 14 hours. And for about half an hour, it's probably my body working this out. Then after that, I could probably go 20 hours with no problem. So I came to fasting in a way not by mistake, but by accident, because when I was in Italy 3 or 4 years ago, those who've seen my videos know that I go to Italy quite often. I love the food, I love the people, and the climate. Great for senior citizens, trust me, south of Italy especially. So I had a cycling accident. I was riding my bike, going downhill, and I hadn't noticed that the pavement was wet, and I hit a curve. And it didn't go too well. I was going quite fast as I was going downhill. My wife is always telling me, slow down, slow down. Hey, we never learn, do we? So when I hit that curve, the wheels just went right under me, and I went flying, and I went to the hospital. Luckily, the person in charge of those types of accidents told me, okay, it's a bad one. You need an operation. You'll need to have metal plates to hold your fracture, because it's not a fracture, it's multiple fractures, about 7 or 8 on my right tibia. So I was stuck in the hospital for about a month. Number one, you have to know this about me. I hate hospitals. But again, as much as I hate hospitals, I was happy there was one, and I was happy there was a surgeon to take care of me. So we can't go too far on one side. The fact that I wasn't really able to move, the fact that I don't like hospital food, I didn't eat much. And so when my wife came to visit me, she would bring me food, and the visiting hours were, I forget exactly now, maybe in the afternoon. And therefore, when I got up, of course, they would bring me good old breakfast, which I didn't eat. And when my wife came, she brought me some nice food, and she prepares this great vegetable dish. So I had a lot of vegetables and basically good food. But also the other thing that I noticed is I didn't eat as much as before, a bit of salad, and I was quite satisfied. I lost in that month 25 kilos, which is about 55 pounds. I was feeling better already. So this brought me to think about fasting, as I saw that the proof was in the pudding. I think that's the expression. But hospital pudding is not pudding, more like liquid plastic. I'll talk to you about some alternate ways of fasting. There's the 16-8 method, which is what I use. So basically you fast for 16 hours. And as I mentioned, fasting during your sleep adds right away 8, 9 hours, depending on how long you sleep. And therefore just have to keep fasting for another 5 hours or so. Then there's the 5-2 method, where basically you you fast for 2 days and eat for 5. I tried that at one point. Didn't really like it, because once you start eating, 2 days is not enough for me anyways to really get into a habit. So then when I ate for 5, I was eating quite a bit. So, and then sort of starving myself for 2 days in a row, I found that very stressful and aggressive. So I don't suggest it, but you can try it. So as mentioned, there's really no fast, hard rules on the way you do it. I think what counts is that you find a good way that fasting becomes a habit for you, and therefore you'll keep it up. That's what counts. And research also has proven the potential benefits is that it increases your mental sharpness. It's very favorable to your hormone profile because as you enter, I think it's about 13 hours of fasting, you enter a state called ketosis. And I'll explain that. Actually, I'll put a little note on the video so that you can freeze the video and read it. How can IF help you lose weight? It increases your growth hormones, decreases insulin, and that alone will help you with your weight loss, that's for sure. When you're fasting, skipping a meal, that right away gives you an incentive to eat less when you do eat. Because if you're eating for 16 hours, 3 meals a day, your calorie intake is much greater. So by eating in an 8-hour period, you will have those benefits. So another aspect, as I was doing my research on fasting, is that fasting will create, intermittent fasting, of course, will create a gentle stress. Now, we know that stress is not good for you, but there are 2 types of stress. I just mentioned the gentle stress and chronic stress. Now, chronic stress is definitely not good for you. Chronic stress is when you freak out for something, or somebody's yelling at you, or you get into a fight, or you tend to, get upset if somebody's in the car in front of you going slow and you're, come on, move. Those are types of chronic stress, but there's also types of gentle stress. Gentle stress is where your body goes into a stress situation for a short period of time and control. One of the stress situations that I do a lot is I take saunas and cold baths. As I mentioned in my other videos, my wife is Japanese, so we go to Japan to visit her relatives quite a bit. And what I love about there, they have what they call onsens. Not what they call onsens, they're called onsens. Basically, health spas, I guess, the Occidental equivalent. And there they have saunas, they have hot baths, hot water. It's absolutely wonderful. Right next to the sauna, they have usually a very cold water. And I go into the sauna for about 10 minutes or so, and then I go into the cold water for about 3, 4, or 5 minutes, and I repeat that. And trust me, it's amazing. After doing that 2, 3 times, I'll be getting up and walking as if I'm on a cloud. It just feels so good. So all along, I've been telling you that for me, as far as I'm concerned, intermittent fasting has been and is a wonderful lifestyle. So let's look at some of the not so beneficial aspects of fasting, and especially for older adults, right? It could increase muscle loss because some people will say, well, I'm fasting. I can't really, walk too much, or I can't really do. No, but if you do that, yes, you will have muscle loss. If you get dizziness, I mentioned before that when I first started at one point, after 10 hours, 11 hours, and at the beginning, I would sort of feel a bit dizzy. Oh, yes, just a side note here. When you do start eating, do not go ahead and grab a pile of mashed potatoes or French fries and hamburger. You start with, what I do is I take kefir or Greek yogurt, we do the same, or just plain yogurt, no sugar, and you eat that, I would say about 15, 20 minutes, sometimes half an hour before. I also take a small spoonful of organic coconut oil, which is very beneficial. Okay, I've been doing that for a long time. You have to make sure that you get enough protein and nutrients. For those who want to start fasting, please do not start aggressive fasting. Don't say, oh, I'm going to fast for 12 hours right away, or 20 hours right away. Avoid 24-hour fasts. I would say in general, after 60, I would avoid 24-hour fasts unless you've been fasting for a while. I know I do it maybe once every 3, 4, 5 months. I'll go on a 24-hour fast. Avoid multi-day fasts, right? Like more than 24 hours. Definitely not recommended, in my opinion. Who should be careful? If you have diabetes, if your blood sugar is low, if you feel if you feel frail and underweight, if you have balance issues, and especially if you need food with medication. So definitely do not alter your medication schedule. So after 50, what matters more than trying to lose weight with fasting is make sure that you eat enough protein, that you stay hydrated. That's very important. You have to stay hydrated. Control your water intake. And I mean water. I don't mean hydrated with a diet soft drink or whatever. Please avoid soft drinks at all costs, especially the diet ones. Everybody's saying, oh, I want to lose weight. I'm going to use a diet drink. Guess what? Aspartame, I forget how it's called. Worst thing you can do for your body. At this point, I might say take a regular soft drink and avoid those diet soft drinks. They're killers. So as I said, a good thing if you like soft drinks, sometimes I used to love, I haven't had a soft drink since I don't know when, 10, 20 years maybe. But what I do is I take soda water, put some lemon in there. And sometimes if I want it sweet, I'll add a little bit of honey, mix that up. And voila, I've got a wonderful, safe, healthy soft drink and easy to make, right? You just need a lemon, soda water, and as I said, a little bit of honey if you want it sweet. But most of the time I drink it just like that, and it's great. It hydrates me and tastes good. So here's the final takeaway. If after 50, make sure that it's gentle, easy for you to follow, and also flexible. As I said, I keep mine pretty rigid, but I've been doing it for 3-4 years now. But at the beginning especially, make it flexible. And then at one point, if you're not sure, just take a little break and then come back to it. But consistency is a good thing. And then finally, also focus on your health, not restriction. Your health is what counts. After 50, I'm sure have a lot of healthy years to come, but let's be smart about it. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as I always say, the most important thing that you can do is enjoy life to the fullest.